So I think it's about time we address a huge elephant in the room. Beardo.
Did he just call me an elephant?
We would like to send out an open invitation to you, Beardo.
We want this to be as respectful as possible from both sides. We're willing to put any personal differences aside. This is for the good of the paranormal community and to give both sides the equal opportunity to showcase what we do.
Well, I suppose I better talk about this. Beardos, weirdos, balls and ghouls, how are you all doing? So that, if you don't know, is GTI, Ghost Trip Investigators. So I've done a couple of debunking videos on YouTube about them, and they did okay, and there was never really much drama came from them. They seemed happy to quite ignore me. But then I turned some of these things into shorts on Facebook, and GTI fans suddenly became very aware of who I was, and they were not happy. And the GTI fans and my fans were sort of doing this, and then me and Adam, the guy in the orange vest, we did this. And people were accusing him of being hateful, me of being hateful, and I always took it as, yeah, the guy's mouthed off at me, but I've mouthed off at him. I've mouthed off at his content, his team. All's fair in love and war, as they say. So basically, I was like, they're fake because of. Their audience were like, they don't fake. And I was like, well, look at this clip. And they were like, no, you're wrong. Rah, I hate you. And in all fairness to Adam, he was like, this is getting out of hand. Can everyone stop with the comments about his appearance and things like that? And it worked. The same thing was happening my end, and I was like, whoa, let's not go down the personal route, etc. Then we butted heads again, and I kind of respected this, when he was just stood in front of the WWE ring with tickets, like, while you're sat at home in your basement or whatever, Netflix invited me out to the WWE, and I'm like, I've got nothing. I got no comeback. But that's not, like, inherently evil or nasty. It was a flex, but it was a know your role. And I'm like, fair play. It was funny and banter, and in this age now of people being doxxed and people filming houses and people threatening people and death threats and all of the nasty shady shit that's been going on recently, I say recently, it's been happening for 3 years. This sort of online spat was almost fun, and I have had a brief conversation with Adam since, and he saw it the same way I did. It's two people not agreeing, firing shots, but entertainment, I guess. But I stand by my comments about GTI. I don't believe they're a legitimate investigation channel. I believe that the content is pretty much like the WWE, that they are an entertainment channel first and it's tacked on to the paranormal. Now, the elephant in the room, so to speak, from my side is, I have always said that I will never ever work with a faker. And up until now, I've stood by that. I have been asked to work with bigger channels than GTI, and I have always refused. And the refusal has always come from, I'm being lied to, I'm being manipulated, or in some aspects, I just don't want to work with these people because of who they associate with. But there are people that are like, would you meet up for a coffee? Yasko. Yasko is, you know, if I come to the UK, would you be up for having a coffee or something? Yeah, I would. The guy came clean after the fact. He's always been respectful to me. I've met up with Kalani Ghost Hunter. Away from the paranormal content, and both of these guys know my thoughts, but they have a bit of respect for me. And respect goes a long way when we constantly being doxxed and threatened and stuff. So I put out a post about Matt Rife. For some bizarre reason, GTI fans looked at my post about Matt Rife and were like, how dare you? GTI have said that you can work with them, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, whoa, I wasn't even talking about them. I'm completely unaware of what's going on. If this is on TikTok, I don't use TikTok. I deleted my account despite it growing because TikTok is just, I'm too old for TikTok. But then I started getting tagged in this post that they put out.
Never in a million years did we think that we would be doing what we're about to do and say to you guys right now.
Over the past 6 to 12 months, there has been a lot of scrutiny on a lot of online paranormal teams. Where some would run away from adversity, we have decided to tackle this adversity head on.
We want our investigations to be open, honest, and as transparent as possible. We believe that that is what the paranormal community deserves.
So I think it's about time we address a huge elephant in the room. Beardo.
Now, everybody is entitled to their beliefs, their opinions on anything that anybody puts on the internet. whether it's the paranormal, whether it's how you make a pizza. Who cares? Everybody's entitled to an opinion and their thoughts.
That being said, we would like to send out an open invitation to you, Beardo, to come on an investigation with myself and Dan, where you can witness us first-hand investigating. We will use the same equipment, all of the same techniques that we currently do, obviously with the difference being you're there to watch.
So, to the community, whether you love us, love Beardo, hate's a very strong word, disagree is a more of an appropriate word. We want this to be as respectful as possible from both sides. We're willing to put any personal differences aside. This is for the good of the paranormal community and to give both sides the equal opportunity to showcase what we do.
We believe this is what the paranormal community deserves. And if we can put our differences aside for one night for the good of the paranormal, surely that is a good thing.
So, how about it? GTI, Beardo, a respectful interaction and investigation, and you guys watching live at home.
And my initial response was the following. You pick and fuck off. So I watched the post and I was like, they've been respectful. They've issued a challenge. But I don't work with fakers, and I'm in an iron about it. And then I opened the comment section, and it was just pretty much the majority of the audience being like, he's a coward, he'll never accept, he'll never do it because he knows the truth and he's a liar. And I'm like, and unfortunately, I'm like Marty McFly, I'm like, don't call me chicken. So I was looking at the comments, and I was like, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it. So I've said, right, I'll do it, but there are caveats in place. For example, there will be no aggression either end of it. That's pointless, that's redundant, that's childish. I will sign no waivers, there will be no control over what I say or do, and I get to report on what I get to report on. But at the same point, the flip side to that is, I could see positives. Maybe I could educate these guys, you know? And in speaking to Adam, that's what they want. They want to do their thing their way with me present, and then me have my thoughts but out loud with them in real time. And I think they want to do it live as well, but they've agreed there'll be no disclaimers, no silencing, no gagging orders, certainly no aggression. They don't want that aggression. They want to meet up first. And I'm like, right, cool, you know, potentially we could meet up and get along really well, but then still disagree completely on content. Or we could meet and just be like, we have nothing in common. We can still go and dislike each other all we want, but appreciate the time spent both sides, whatever. I've reached out to a few friends of mine in the debunking and content creator space, and most of them are like, ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know if I'd do it, especially because you said you'll never work with fakers. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not a coward. And I guess that's my ego talking for a bit, like, how dare you accuse me of being a coward? But at the same point, I've always been open to changing people's minds about how they make their content, how they release and package their content, about more honesty from these teams that I truly believe fake and stage paranormal activity, trying to get a higher standard of paranormal investigation. And by me just flat out saying, I ain't working with you, I'm just going to keep making videos and mocking you, then all that's doing is more butting their heads and more angering audiences. And I've noticed a few people from my side, I've looked at what they've done here and gone, fair play to them, let's keep an eye. But I've noticed some of their viewers coming to me and being like, I've got you a little bit wrong. Because they haven't just looked at me saying, I'm going to do the video, or I'm going to turn up to this location. They've looked into the reasons I debunk. They've started lurking in live streams to see if they can get a feel for what I'm about. And then they're leaving comments in my live streams or on videos like, I got you wrong. You genuinely just seem to really love the paranormal. And you defend the paranormal. And yeah, that's exactly it. That's why I got my head up my ass most of the time. It's why I get so annoyed at fakery and what have you. But as a debunker, as a skeptical believer, as a paranormal enthusiast, I'm doing myself and my audience a disservice by being just so stonewalled to everything that it's like, I only like 5 channels, everyone else can go boil their own heads, I'm having nothing to do with them, I'll never work with them, I'll never educate them. That's not what I set out to do. Mike from Real Evidence has been saying it a lot recently, that we just want to elevate the standards of the paranormal. And I'm like, this is potentially a way to do that, or potentially to just draw a line in the sand and say, nah, these guys are full of it. I like them in person, they're nice guys, but I don't like the content. Or potentially they could be like, you know, you've got a point with the DR60. You've proved the DR60, because I've got some experiments that I want to do with these guys to show them the flaws in their devices. You know, I've got my own equipment that I take, and I'll be taking all of that and being like, guys, maybe you should be using these instead of this, or use it in conjunction with, except the DR60, fuck the DR60, it's bollocks. I've also had a lot of people be like, there's two of them, there's one of you, you need to be really careful, because, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. These guys are not going public asking me to go to an event that they're going to live stream and record in order to beat me up or something. Say what I want, well, they're content, but they are very good businessmen. They've made an absolute killing off content and an idea, you know, the travelling mixed in with the investigations or ghost hunts. They're very smart businessmen, so no, they're not going to risk everything by luring me somewhere to beat me up. That's ridiculous. I wouldn't put it past other people, but those other people don't have a channel size of GTI, because while they may not be massive on YouTube, they are massive on TikTok and they're massive on Facebook, and they will fully understand, no matter what I've said in the past, that if this was to turn into some sort of violent altercation or shoving contest or dick measuring contest, that nobody's going to look good from it, and if somebody throws a punch, that person gets nicked, it all gets on the news and everyone will be talking about it. It destroys reputations and livelihoods. I don't think that they are going to be that stupid, and neither am I. I'm not going to put myself in a position of danger, for one. Two, I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'd have to defend myself. That's stupid. It'll be interesting either way, because they've said they're going to do things the way they always do it, just with me present. And this is something I nearly did a couple of years ago with a different channel, but that all fell apart, because the second I did call him out for something, he was like, you're a bully and a hater and you're toxic. And my stance on this right now is this is a one-off. I'm going to do this as a one-off because, number one, they've been respectful in this video. Number two, since that video's gone out, they've reached out privately and they've been very respectful, very polite, and there's also been respect in regards to the back and forth between me and him, between me and Adam specifically. Like, he understands the reason I do what I do, and then I understand the reason he clapped back the way he did, but none of it was that threatening, malicious, horrible stuff. It was like we were both making each other look stupid and laughing to ourselves about it, and I think he understands that. I certainly understand that. But then for them to reach out and be like, and reach out publicly first off, I genuinely thought that this was some sort of ploy, that they were going to put this out there, hoping I'd say no, and then be like, see, debunkers are cowards, debunkers are this, debunkers are that. And then after like 2 days when there was no response, everyone was going, they're cowards, they're cowards. And then after my live stream last night, I opened my email and I was like, oh, right, this is a legitimate sort of offer. This is a legitimate request. And I find that interesting in itself, because I've had a lot of large creators reach out to me in the fake paranormal field and be like, come to this location and put your money where your mouth is. And I'm like, I don't have to put my money where my mouth is. I can look at videos and tell you what's really going on in there. And if I see masking and editing and whatever, I don't need to be there. This is a myth construed by fakers that you have to be there. But when there's a respectful offer, when it's come and watch us do our thing the way we always do it, and then thought processes and stuff, I've got time for that. So what I won't be doing, I won't be like selling my soul. I won't be going there and then just nodding along and smiling and be joining in on the joke to boost my channel or to grow. It'll be me being what I am here in front of this camera, but with them. So when they pull out the DR60, I am going to eye roll them and be like, really, lads? And I've got an idea of what I want to do with the DR60 to try and educate them on it. And, you know, if they're open to things like that, then potentially they learn a better way of investigating. Even if I only make a difference to one thing that they do, I've still made a difference. And that's the whole point of the debunkers and the debunking community, right? Is to make a difference in the paranormal field. And debunkers are already making a difference, being noticed by the likes of Dr. Kieran O'Keefe, Dr. Chris French. The fact that some very, very large creators and TV personalities absolutely hate us and are terrified of us featuring them. That's a positive for the debunking community, but debunkers being nominated for awards, debunkers being invited to give talks at haunted locations or at paranormal conventions. That's all massive, and that's all very new for this YouTube debunking community. And I think that that's important, and as this community grows and as debunking channels, there's more and more and more pop up. If I don't change and I just stay in that lane of you're all fake, F you, I'm having nothing to do with you, I'm just going to bring 3 videos out a week mocking all of you. If I don't change from that, this channel becomes stagnant. I don't learn anything. I don't grow as a person, as a content creator. I'm doing the same thing over and over again, hoping to change people's minds. That's the definition of madness, right? So let's break my rule. Let's go and do this and then see where the ground lays after. Now, I've already been questioned by my own community. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you going to be working with a faker when you said you haven't? That's the whole point of this video. I want to explain myself. And obviously, yes, I once saw another debunker working with a channel that I believed to be fake and was like, what the fuck are you doing? This is bad. I'm not going to get too deep into it because of all the drama that came off of it, but I've learned from that. That sometimes being too stuck in your ways and too stone-faced has a very negative impact. As far as I'm aware, this is all going to be discussed beforehand. I think they're picking the location and then I'm meeting them there, or I'm meeting them before. There'll be a discussion. Make sure we can get along because, you know, they don't know me. I don't know them privately. Then go to a location. They're going to do their things and I'm going to do my thing of basically debunking in real time, I guess, but without hostility and aggression. And who knows, maybe this could open more doors for teams out there being like, do you know what? I would like to be a bit more legitimate. I would like to get off the radar of the debunkers by being willing to listen and learn to them. And it's already been happening. You know, people like, yeah, you can make whatever videos you want. The Midwest Ghost Hunter is a big example of this. We all know what he's doing. He just laughs along with us and enjoys the interactions with the debunking community. Channels like Explore a Lot, who, whilst they don't always agree with what I'm saying or how I say it, they have asked me, like, I've got this bit of footage, what do you think of it? And I'm like, it's nonsense. And then they do things like they pull out the app and they're like, this is not proven for anything. I believe, but I'm not telling you to believe. Those little changes are the changes that we, as the skeptical and the debunking community, those are the changes that we want. And to wrap this up, I'm not expecting everybody to be happy with me. I'm not expecting everyone to be all sunshine and rainbows and like, yeah, that's a really cool idea. I just want to put my point of view across because I've always done my channel my way in regards to when people are like, oh, how'd you grow on YouTube? I'm like, I got no idea. I'm just some clown that shouts on the internet and I've done okay for it. And then I've tanked my channel and then it started to climb again. But I've always done things my way. Sometimes I annoy other debunkers. Sometimes I annoy the debunking community. Other times people are really glad of the things I do and the way I shoot from the hip. It's all a learning process. I'm still learning. You guys are still learning. And it's just, and for me, there's something that does need to change for me. So I'm going to try this one time. And if by doing this one time sort of changes things for the better in the paranormal at large and they start looking at things a bit more objectively and a bit more with critical thinking, then that's a plus, and then maybe I would do it again with somebody else that's willing to be open and honest and learn. What I won't do is consistently have my pants pulled down and then everyone that wants to grow their fake channel be like, come and work with us, beardo, wink wink, nudge nudge, we can fuck him over. There'll be none of that. I have gone to war with so many people where, you know, there are live streams and videos put out like the face of online bullying and all of that stuff. So when a channel like these that I don't believe are legitimate, they go against their better judgment and their morals to invite me out, is it not better for me to go against my morals and better judgment and meet halfway? It'll probably be just a one-off. I do this one time with one channel, and if nothing changes, then it was a pointless experiment, but I tried. If, however, I see little changes and little positives, then absolutely, I could probably do this again to elevate the paranormal investigations, to elevate the field, and to start being able to separate fact from fiction and entertainment from legitimate, and be able to do that in person, face to face, respectfully. That's more appealing to me than me repeatedly butting heads. But that doesn't mean I'm softening my approach in regards to my videos, and it certainly doesn't mean that I'm going to be doing this very often. And there are certain channels, they could ask as much as they want and they could be as big as they want, and the answer is a resounding no. I will not work with anyone that's ever doxed, threatened, harassed, or made claims of content criticism being bullying. I will not give those people the time of day. I won't even entertain the idea. I also won't work with people that associate with people like that. So there we go. Do let me know in the comment section down below. There's no right or wrong answer to this. If you think it's a stupid idea, you're allowed to think that. If you think it's a great idea, you're allowed to think that. If you're somewhere in the middle and you want to see what happens by the end of it, you're allowed that. It's just something different, and they've been respectful even though we've had a war of words, and I can respect that. I can be respectful back. Let's see if it makes a difference. Or do I walk out of there, shake hands with them, and be like, that was a waste of both of our time. Adios. Catch you in a video next week, you know? We shall see. Much love to you all. Beardo out.